What up, what up, what up? It is your boy Roy, accompanied by the one, the only, the Dominican bad man, Sergio. No longer the floor price guy. We're going to go by Sergio from here
That's
on out.
crazy.
He retired that name. He hung him up. He hung up the gloves, his jerseys in the rafters. He rage quit. He hit the dashboard. I'm just
My
kidding.
boy did rage
But
quit.
I'll let you talk about that shortly. This weekend, we have UFC 316. We have gold on the line. Merab Dvalishvili puts up his bantamweight title in his second title defense up against Sean O'Malley in the rematch. In the co-main event, we have Kayla Harrison salivating at the idea of a shot at the women's bantamweight title in a 5-round bout. Great card. Before we get into this card, let's talk about last week. One of the worst cards, in my opinion, in recent history, maybe in all of the UFC history. This card was so bad, it was worse than my last relationship, bro. It was really bad, bro. This card, we had people pull out, we had fights being readjusted, we had the main event being canceled minutes before the walkouts due to a medical emergency. But despite all that, despite all the negativity, all the withdrawals, all the downfalls of the card, we did pretty well on our bets. We hit about, what was it, 9 to 10 bets we hit that we put out. We were killing it with the live bets. Our picks, out of 9 fights, my man over here hit 7 of 9 at an 80%. I hit 6 of 9. I mean, we did pretty well, man. How you doing? Break it down.
That was a good card. I mean, look, pinned to the top. You're gonna see it. Levitt. Listen, there was I think the banger of the week was I started calling fights and I was a little bit timid. You get two wrong, but then my boy, I sneaked a little submission bet at a plus 300. I didn't call that because the first two weren't, and I'm like, it's the ones you don't call that land.
Yeah.
I was just very kind of annoyed, but after that, man, I gotta say the live bets treated me well. Um, it was an okay card. Like I wish the main event was there. Like we
Yeah.
had at 3 fights, we had 9 bets lined up. But Goff was the wrench. It was insane. He was a minus 425 too, right?
I believe so. Yeah. I think one of the standouts was, in my opinion, Gamrot just neutralizing and kind of showing that there's levels in the UFC in terms of the top 15, the top 10, right? Um, Ludovic Klein came into this fight with a 92% takedown defense. That was the whole, storyline that, oh, he has this great takedown defense. But at the end of the day, who has he fought? Which grapplers have been put in front of him, right? And Gamrot really neutralized and really humbled him and dominated, in my opinion, right? He won a unanimous decision, 30-27, easy. Dustin Jacoby with the knockout. Brahim with the submission. And then you had Filio Inasamiento. Just poor decision, overzealous from Filio, in my opinion. I had him as a dog. I thought he was going to get it done, but he was just, he lost key positions on the ground, right? He tried to take the back. He was a little too high, and Nascimento, for how good he is, he was able to,
But champ,
get on top. What's up?
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. We
No,
know
no
what
worries.
Nascimento did. Nascimento came in bigger. This is
Yeah, of
the
course. He's
reason
a weight
why.
bully. He's a weight bully.
He's
Yeah.
a weight bully, missed weight, and then after that fight, I'm like, this is not gonna be a. There was a Reyes Dominican that kind of didn't make weight and got cut and got smashed. I knew Nascimento looked massive. That's why I looked at the fight. I'm like, it's flyweight too. Let's put it past 2 rounds.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, champ, this one right here, Kaylin Vieira, flipping
Ketlin. Yeah.
Ketlin. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. And I think there's something to be said about when we break down these fights, we look at it at face value, right? And then we often, we bet off of value and who we think is going to win, right? There's two different things. But when you're watching fights live, you're kind of able to assess, and the caliber of fighters. You watch the fights, understand, and you kind of know more than the average person. So when you're betting live and you see that, you've done it countless times when you see the favorite flip into an underdog because they had a questionable round or the other person had a key moment in the fight, but you smash that positive money line and you make some money, man.
I'm just gonna say it's insane that so apparently the whole schmate and why Ken Vieira was a so when I didn't pick Kaylin because she was a favorite. And then I'm just
No, she's the
waiting.
better fighter in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, she's 100%. Like,
Yeah.
look,
That's
she
why, that's
fought
why we picked
Kayla
her.
Harrison to a decision.
Yeah.
Like, like
And
so
we'll
what?
talk about Kayla later, and we'll talk about that fight
Macy's
too.
supposed to take her down? Absolutely not. Macy's not that good. That's the reality. Like that women's division is looking grim.
Yeah.
Um, like flyweight and strawweight have surpassed bantamweight at this point. So and also Macy used to be a featherweight fighter. So heading into
Mhm.
this fight, she's the favorite, and then all of a sudden she can't make weight. So they agree to fight at featherweight. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, as you know, the gossip starts turning around. The money says, "Hey, there's money on Macy. Fuck Vieira." So when the live bet hit, and I'm like a plus 145 at the end of the second round, champ,
Yeah.
minus 20,000.
Wow.
Vieira. Yeah, it's
Wow.
insane.
And listen, guys, follow us on X at Combat Sport, guys. We are live for every UFC card, fight night, pay-per-view, doesn't matter. We're calling every fight. We're giving you live bets. Make sure you tap in. Make sure you show some love. We're not charging you subscription. We're not asking for anything. Just give us a follow. Just give us a follow. Show a little bit of love. At
Little
the
love,
end of the
little love.
day, we're always going to be here. We're always going to be active. We're always going to be present. We're always going to be dropping these videos for you. And we'll move on to, well, before we do move on to the full card breakdown, the main event, as I mentioned, got called off minutes before the walkout. And there was a lot of uncertainty at the time as to why it was called off. And it came to light later that Macy Barber had a seizure. She had a medical episode, right? In the locker room that she was forced to pull out of the fight. So hearts go out to her. But, you know, Erin Blanchfield kind of said she's not professional. First off, she missed weight. She has a history of missing weight. She has a history of not making it to her fights. She pulled out of this fight. I no longer want to entertain the idea of fighting her. I want to fight somebody else. So, what does this do to the division? What does this do to the top five? What do you see happening?
Macy's not fighting for a main event for a while.
Yeah. She lost that opportunity. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, look, what do you do now? What is if Valentina is going? Who's coming up? Weili. If Weili's coming up, why don't you pair up Blanchfield versus Silva?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like the real number one contender. You eliminate a contender, obviously, but
yeah,
if Weili, like, and that's a great way of having, like, if any of the girls get injured, just swap one Silva or Blanchfield into the top. But
or Grasso too. We'll see what happens.
Well, Grasso is looking grim after that fight. Like my girl had one thing to do, and it was hire a Taekwondo instructor and spend the whole camp just like learning how to cut ankles, chasing, and she did it.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was very frustrating. It was very frustrating that.
Yeah, I know you were frustrated with that, and we were both on opposing ends on that Grasso Silva fight, but ultimately Silva's footwork and her technique prevailed, man. We'll move on here to our full card breakdown of UFC 316. Kicking off the card, we'll wait for you to, kicking off the card, we have Markel Mederos taking on Mark Choinsky. Now, Choinsky or Choinsky, however you want to say it, Markel Mederos pulled out of his bout with Balaji Oki last week because, per his words, he was sick, he was ill, he was unable to train. Now, a week after, he's taken on another fight. I believe it's his UFC debut. Am I correct in that? Yeah, yes, it's his UFC debut. And, you know, my issue with Markel Mederos is we've broken him down before. He has good striking. He has decent enough wrestling. He hasn't been truly tested in the UFC, right? His takedown defense looked good up against Austin Hubbard, but he was taken down. It was at elevation. He ultimately won that fight via split decision, right? But his striking, his technique is good. I like that. I like his combinations. I like that. But he has a history of pulling out of fights. He was supposed to fight at the beginning of the year. He pulled out due to an unknown reason. I think it was an illness. He pulled out of his recent fight due to an illness. He was out for about a year. I think it was due to a concussion or due to an injury, if I'm not mistaken. So a little bit of inconsistent in my opinion, but he's going up against Mark Choinsky, who's 8-0. You know, he last beat John Ramirez via submission. Mederos is also 10-1-0. He's 5-5, last beating Austin Hubbard via split decision. Choinsky is well-rounded. He can throw when he's comfortable. He could also push the pace. He also does have a grappling background, a grappling game plan. He does incorporate the wrestling if he needs to, but he doesn't always do it. I think for him to have success in this fight, he needs to shy away from the striking and just get to the wrestling. He's going to have the big octagon. He's going to have a lot of room to work with, cut off angles, use the striking level change, take down Markel, and beat him. I'm going to go with the wrestler. I think, Markel up against Austin Hubbard was taken down twice, right? And then this time he's going up against a better wrestler in Mark Troyanski. So I'm going to go with Mark to win here. I'm not too sold on Markel. Good striker, though.
Yeah, I mean, I was pulling for Markel. I think Markel with Oki would have been a very different bout.
Would have been a fun fight. Very fun
fight. Oki has power. He should have gotten that dude out of there. He didn't. But he's trying to conserve himself. I had money on the KO. Didn't, heat was thrown, my friend. But
he was looking for it, man. That dude is tough.
Yeah, that dude's very tough.
That dude took a lot of hits to the chin, man.
Yeah. I mean, I would have loved one to go down. But I look at this fight and I see, you know what it is? Like, I'll be honest with you. I watched like 2 or 3 fights of Mark. I like Mark, good wrestler, also from Rufus Sport.
Yeah.
So he's been preparing with these dudes. Like, I don't know if Bilal, former champion, exiled from Rufus Sport. I know he's in Chicago now, which is very different than I think in Minnesota is where Rufus Sport is. Man, I'm gonna go with Markel. I'm gonna go with opposing ends.
No, I understand it. And the issue, like I said, one of the things that's shying me away from picking Markel is that the fact that he stated he was sick, he wasn't able to train, and now we expect him to have trained for this fight. How is he going to look on the scale? Is he even going to make this fight? Does he pull out again? Right?
I think he'll make this fight. He's going to make this fight. I think the opposition is a little bit better. Oki was going to present a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, big dude.
Yeah, and I mean, like, he's also looking at this fight as like, look, you're fighting a guy that's 8-0. The last 5 fights have been within 5 years, like five fights within the last basically 2 years. So you have a situation where this guy was 3-0 a couple of years ago, similar to him. It's no different, but
and if Troyanski comes in with a grappling heavy game plan, he uses the wrestling, he sets up his level changes with his strikes, and we're going to learn a lot about Markel, right? Like I've said it last time when we broke him down at UFC Mexico. Like, I want to see him up against a good enough grappler that, pushes the pace, shoots for consistent takedowns. And hopefully we get that from Troyanski. Hopefully he doesn't fall in love with the striking. We often see that where ego takes over, right? People want to fall in love with the striking and they kind of shy away from what got them to the dance. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Yeah. We're on opposing ends.
Away from this fight, I think this fight is doable at a plus 200 money. If you want to be, it's good. But putting minus 245 on Medeiros,
I don't trust him. Nope.
That is not a yes. No, that is a suspect.
Yeah, we'll wait. Maybe it's good to see the live, right? So we'll see how that first round goes, and then we'll kind of see where the odds are at. Next up, we have Killian Saukild taking on Yanel Ashmush in a lightweight bout. Now, where is it here? We have Saukild, who is 8-1-0 and is 5-5, last beating Anshu Jubli. Sorry, I wrote that wrong. Jubli, who is the quote-unquote Indian Khabib Nurmagomedov. Per his words, he has a chin made of iron, brother. And what happened last fight? He got slept. He got tagged. He got fucking dropped. Ashmush is 8-1-0 and is 4-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last beating Trevor Peek via unanimous decision. I fucking dislike Ashmush because on that card, that was the Sean Brady versus Gilbert Burns card, and I went 10 of 11 on my picks. I would have fully swept the card if fucking Trevor Peek would have won that fight, but Ashmush, this is a different fight, right?
Trevor Peek's the guy that looks like Minecraft, right?
He's the dude that has the boxy head, the big ass.
Yeah, that's Steve. That's Steve. That's Minecraft.
Yeah, remember we did you watch that movie, by the way?
Good movie.
I watched it with my nephews. It's a pretty good movie, man.
Good movie.
Yeah. Saukild is well-rounded. He has decent pops in his strikes. He can grapple. He's good on the ground. He chases submissions. He fights well at range and within the pocket. He does, though, struggle against people who apply the pressure. If you look at his fight in the Contender Series, we didn't get to see it last fight because he finished it early. But when people apply the pressure and push the pace, he does get tagged. He does get a little flustered, like, what am I doing here, right? Especially when he's pushed up against the fence. He gets, his chin is up in the air. He gets hit. But He's going up against Yanel, who doesn't necessarily always have an aggressive pace and aggressive approach, but he likes to strike. He likes to wrestle. If he feels the fight isn't going too well on the feet, he will switch to the wrestling. He does have a grappling heavy game plan. I think we're going to learn a lot about Salkeld here. We're going to see how he does, but I think this fight, just based on Ashmush's forward pressure, is not going to be too much of a threat. I think Salkeld's going to do well fighting at range, closing the distance, incorporating the grappling if he needs to. His takedown defense should hold up here. I'm going to go with Salkeld to get it done, man. I like him.
Same. I'm gonna go. I like his striking. I think he snipes him from the outside. So I think the question is there value in KO money or TKO money here? I think that's where the value is. Right now, it's sitting at a minus 490 on my betting website. I mean, look.
Inside the distance, man, decision, no action. If the odds are a little better.
Decision, no action. Well, I don't have that. I would definitely do that.
You don't have that option?
No, I don't have that. I would definitely do that. But I think Sahil takes it. I think he's
cool. All right. So we both agree that Salkeld is going to be the pick for both of us. He's going to be victorious. We'll move on here to a featherweight bout. We have Joe Sang-Yu taking on Jeka Saragi, however you want to say it. Yu is 8-0. He's undefeated. He's 5-5. Last beating Masutu Kawana via knockout. Saragi is 14-4-0 and is 3-5 in the last 5 bouts. Last losing to Weston Wilson via submission. Now, when you look at Joe Sang-Yu, the key difference in this fight, in my opinion, is going to come down to the footwork. Ju Sang-Yu is the better fighter, in my opinion, the overall well-rounded fighter, but his footwork here is phenomenal, right? He has good movement. He has solid striking. He can stand switch. He's light on his feet. He can also grapple, incorporate the wrestling, control his opponents on the ground. Saragi, he has power behind his strikes. He has freaking like hands of stone, right? He's strong. He doesn't have the best technique, and he typically doesn't utilize striking combinations. He kind of headhunts here, but I think up against Yu, who's the better fighter, he's going to be able to outwork him on the feet, kind of get in his shots, move in and out. He's going to be victorious. So I'm going to go with Yu to get it done.
I'm going to go with you too. I do not like, no. We ain't doing this, brother. Minus 500. Now the issue with this one, it's like, it's heavy. It's difficult to bet. So I would say also, like, I would kind of keep an eye, on the inside the distance, KO, like those are the type of stuff, but I would not put him in a parlay. I think he dominates. I think he does very well.
Yeah. What we're seeing, I'm sorry to interrupt you. What we're seeing in the previous 2 fights is we're seeing these undefeated fighters, their second bouts in the UFC, and they're heavy favorites, right? So I would advise you guys to not throw these people into any parlays. They could break your parlay. We never know, right? Throughout the year, undefeated fighters haven't had the best luck, but I'm pretty confident, though, that you can get it done here. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's totally fine. It's totally cool. Moving on.
All right, you ready to move on? All right, cool. Yeah. Next up, we have some women's action. We have Ariana Lipski da Silva taking on Kong Wang. Lipski is 17-10-0 and is 3-5. Last losing to Jasmine Jasudavicius via submission. But we know how good Jazzy is, baby. Kong Wang is 7-1-0 and is 4-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last beating Bruna Brazil via unanimous decision. Now, I'll be honest, Serge. I was one of those guys after she lost to Fernandez. I think it was Fernandez. Was it Fernandez? Gabriela Fernandez? Gabriela Fernandez. After she lost, I said, oh, maybe she's not that good. Maybe Bruna Brazil, training with the Fighting Nerds, gonna take her down, gonna control her. She's gonna win. And what happened? She didn't do any of that. Her takedown defense looked good.
When was that? I want to see what I picked.
No, you picked that. No, I think you picked Bruna Brazil as well. We both picked Bruna Brazil. Yeah, we both picked Bruna Brazil. We were both on that side. But I'm gonna admit it. I was on that side. I was scared. I saw that she was with the boys over at the Fighting Nerds. I saw the glasses. I got excited, and I went with the dog. But I was wrong. And I think in this fight, it favors Kong a little bit more. You look at Lipski, she's an active striker. She doesn't have the power that will damage you, but she's active enough and she isn't afraid to bang. She throws a lot. She throws with a lot of volume and has a lot of output. her her issue is, and her weakness is that she is vulnerable on the ground. We saw that with Jasmine Jasudavicius, who is a heavy grappler, came in, got the submission win. Kong Wang, we know that she's a kickboxer. She has solid striking. She has knockout power. The UFC loves to talk about her fight with Valentina Shevchenko back in the day, right? Back in the day, they love to bring that up on every occasion when she fights. I think Kong Pang. I think Kong Wang's gonna win here. I think she's the better striker. She has more power, and she's gonna get it done, man. I'm gonna look at the over under. Maybe she can get her out of there. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, Kong Wan is a very dynamic fighter. Like even in her last performance, she was after that loss. Like she was, I thought she was gonna come a little bit gun shy, but she was very explosive. Yeah, man. I mean, I can't talk shit about Wang. I mean, yeah, I mean Wang. I'll put her in a parlay, but let's see what it does. Because again, like at a minus, you got a lot of heavy favorites, man. Like,
yeah, look at Lipski. Lipski lost to Priscilla Cachoeira, who is a short brawler. She got knocked out via punches. She lost to Montana de la Rosa, who has a grappling, and striking, ground and pound. Antonia Shevchenko, she lost to Valentina's sister, ground and pound. I think she can get the knockout here, man. I think Kong Wang can get the knockout. I'm gonna look at the over under 1.5 rounds, the under 2.5 rounds, see what's available on my app, on my sports book. But I think Kong Wang can get the finish here, man.
I think she could. Look, I just didn't like the demeanor of Ariane when she was fighting Juicy J. It just didn't like it. Like the thing is on Wang's last fight, there was a killer instinct there, and it looked so good, right? After being submitted, versus Ariana, like she looked lackluster against Juicy J. And yes, it is Juicy J, but it's still, I don't know, man. She's not going to have that striking advantage. So, what are we saying? She takes her down. Wang knows it's coming, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. But listen, I mean, look, maybe you put together Sowkill, Wang, and you grab Van. We'll talk about Van shortly for a plus 104.
Yeah, we'll see. And as always, guys, at the conclusion of these videos, we do drop them on X alongside our picks. At the end of the week, closer to the weigh-ins, like around Thursday or Friday, we drop our bets. Make sure you're tapped in on X. Make sure you hit the little bell. Make sure you support us and show some love. Hit the subscription below as well if you're watching deep into this breakdown. Next up, we have Chaos Williams taking on Andreas Gustafsson. Williams is 15-4-0, 3-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last being submitted by Gabriel Bonfim, where he looked like he was fucking shaking, having a seizure on the ground, man. It was kind of a grim scene to look at. Gustafsson is 11-2-0 and is 4-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last being Pat Piltic via KO. Williams, we know he has some power behind his shot. He's a brawler. He throws wild punches. He has real knockout power. He has speed and precision with his strikes. He's good in the pocket. If he's able to close the distance, he's dangerous. His grappling game has been an area of concern. He has attempted to make some improvement towards his game, but he has struggled against elite grapplers and doesn't have the best takedown defense. Now, Gustafsson, on the other side, he has good striking. He has solid takedown defense. You throwing stuff over there, brother? You good?
Good, I'm good. Let's keep it going.
What happened? Did the light fall or your camera fall?
The light.
Yeah, so this is going to be his UFC debut, Gustafsson. He does have the disadvantage when it comes to the reach, so it's going to be interesting to see. But I think here the key difference is going to be the grappling. I think Gustafsson's going to be able to mix in the striking with his grappling. He's going to be able to, push Chaos Williams up against the fence, get some takedowns, kind of keep him there and drag him out, get him tired, and then incorporate his striking. I'm going to go with Gustafsson here to be victorious.
Really? I'm going to go with Williams. I've always liked Chaos. Chaos is
it's his name, bro. He changed his name to Chaos because the way he fights.
He's very chaotic. So, I mean, I'm banking on the fact that Chaos could put good hands on him. The last fight, and I had Chaos, and like remember we talked about this. I had I had to oppose the both Bonfim brothers.
Yeah,
I
we went
wouldn't
against
totally
both of
against
them.
it, but one of them got I think knocked out by
One of them got John Jones, bro. Don't forget that.
is that what
One
it
of
is?
them
Is that
got
what it
John
is?
Jones, bro.
Okay.
But he got knocked out. He did get knocked out. He did get knocked out.
There needs to be listen, my boy. There needs to be better. Yeah, man. It's just like the sport is getting to the point where you could literally grab a guy and just like give him an eye, and my boy.
Give him an eye poke, bro.
Nothing wrong with a little eye poke. I'll tell you that right now. There's nothing.
Hey, listen, it got John Jones GOAT status right now. I'm just kidding. It's not. It's not because of the eye pokes. My man is an elite fighter. Don't clip that and say that he only got it because of the eye pokes. My man's a beast. A little suspect though. I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you saw the who was it? What's the referee's name again? Fuck. What's his name?
What's his name? Which one?
The referee that said that shared the story of John
Oh,
Jones.
John McCartney. John McCartney.
John McCartney shared the story of John Jones sexually assaulting a commissioner, right? If you haven't seen that, check it out. It's all over X. Questions about his suspect activities continue to come about, man.
That individual's the GOAT. But listen, going back into Williams.
Sorry, I went on a rant there. I wanted to get a reaction out of you. I know that's your GOAT.
It's okay. That's my guy. That's my guy. Even like, bro, very quickly, the boys were talking about Aspinall and how Aspinall is now the champion, and Chael and
bro. Listen, bro, this is what I think. I think the fight is signed, and like, cause Aspinall said this in the past. The UFC wants to make the fight, but they want a story. They want to build it. There's no story, so this is the story. This is the story. He's saying that he retired John Jones, that he's the champ, and then what's gonna happen? John Jones is gonna say, "I'm the champ. I'm not retired." Meet up in November, December, whenever John Jones wants to fight in New York, right? New Jersey.
It'll be in New York.
It'll be in New York. It'll be in New York, and then boom, that's that. They gotta build the fight. They gotta generate some interest, right? From the casual viewers, from the people who don't necessarily watch.
Well, New York's hot for that. New York has always been like that's John Jones's land. Let's be honest, right? Like after a while. But going back to Williams, I got Williams. The -205, I don't see it. Gustafsson, like I think Bonfim has better footwork than obviously Gustafsson. I think that's why Williams had a little bit of trouble. The footwork was flawless. But I think he catches Gustafsson. I think he catches him.
All right, we'll find out, man. We're on opposing ends here. You're going with Chaos. I'm going with Gustafsson to be victorious in his debut. He is the underdog. I understand it. The striking prowess, the knockout ability is enticing for a lot of people from Chaos's side, right? But after getting viciously submitted like that, I want to see how he comes back, man. I want to see how he looks. I think it's too big of a turnaround, isn't he? Didn't he fight like 2 months ago? When was that fight? A while ago.
That was a while ago. That was a while because
that was at the beginning of the year. No, it wasn't the beginning. Was it on? No, it wasn't the beginning of the year. It was on a fight night. I remember.
Even 3 months ago.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll move on though to our next fight. We have Sergey Spivak taking on El Dominicano Waldo Cortez Acosta, who we have an interview with on this channel. Make sure you check that out. Floor Price Guy got to sit down, got an hour and a half, I believe, or how long whatever it was with him. Got some. You want to talk about how that went and what you learned from Waldo?
He's a killer, bro. That man gives no fucks about anything. He's nasty. I like how nasty he got. And like, damn, my boy. But that's the thing about it. When you talk to these fighters, like one of the things you pick up is like they're very nasty and like they believe they're the best in the world. And I think that's
cool, bro. Your testosterone's running through your body. You're young. You have ego. Like, phew. You remember how you were when you were 22, bro, boxing? You probably thought you were the big shit in town.
Boy, I'm still the big shit.
Look at that. My boy has been in the gym. I saw photos of you sparring the other day. Were you trying to get back in the ring?
We'll see. But listen.
Okay, we have Sergey Spivak, who is 17-5-0 and is 3-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Jailton Almeida via KO. But in that fight, he was able to grab him in the clinch, throw him around a little bit, get the grappling going. Ultimately, he got knocked out. Cortez is 13-1-0 and is 4-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Ryan Spann via knockout. Now, Spivak is a grappler who chases submissions. His striking is okay, but obviously up against a former boxing professional. I think he was a pro boxer, right, Waldo? Yeah. Former professional in boxing. Cortez Acosta, he is the lesser of the two. I think Cortez Acosta, I have criticized him in the past up against, what's this? Arlovsky
Arlovsky.
up against Arlovsky. I criticized his performance there. I felt like his jab was flat. He wasn't really utilizing his combinations. He looked a little timid, but he is improving. He is getting better. I picked against him when he came to fighting Ryan Spann. I thought Ryan Spann was going to look better at heavyweight. I thought I was going to soothe him more, but man just wanted to not cut weight anymore. He wanted to look big. Yeah. He didn't look good in that fight, and I think Waldo Cortez is one of those guys that's getting better each time, and they're slowly building him. He looks good on the ground. He's an active striker with a boxing heavy approach. He has solid technique and decent power. He gets that jab going, and he's an athlete, man. He has good cardio. He has good endurance. I think it's going to be one of these fights where Waldo, in order for Waldo to have success, he's going to have to keep this fight standing, obviously. He's going to have to avoid closing the distance, allowing Spivak to get into the clinch, to utilize the judo, to throw him around, and just work the jab, right? Work the jab, use that footwork, piece him up from the outside. You're going to have the big octagon to move around. I think Waldo Cortez is going to be active here. He's going to get the W. I'm going to go with Waldo, especially at dog money at plus 120. We always talk about value, right? And I think the value lies in Waldo Cortez Acosta in this bout. Now, before I give it to you, I want to say I do think that Waldo is going to have issues in the future when he faces a grappler, like a grappling heavy heavyweight, but right now I think he's fine.
Well, this is a good test for him.
Yes,
this is a good test to see how well he could kind of keep the distance, circle, because he's gonna circle this dude up. He's gonna jab. Yeah. I would assume we could he's nasty.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Waldo. I like the decision. I like the grind. I got money off the bat on him. I got money on him at a plus 120. I like it. I'm not discounting Sergey though. Sergey's a bad MFer. I'm not gonna lie to you. And the opposition he's fought, it's a very tough opposition. Let's be honest. I would be very keen to see how Tybura and Cortez would do, right? And that was the fight that was supposed to happen. My only criticism, especially when it comes to the heavyweight fighters, why are we pushing these guys in the prelims? Why isn't this guy, both of them? And the heavyweight division, bro, it's looking grim. It's not good.
Well, we got Talis and Teixeira there, man. We got a couple of young prospects in there. We'll see what happens.
Because of Derek Lewis, that's the only reason why they're main eventing that fight night.
Of course. Well, yeah, too, yeah, location and everything.
Yeah, it's just
okay. But yeah, we're both going with Waldo here. I'm sorry. What were you saying about? You were interested.
No, I would just like the position of this card to be in the pay-per-view. We need eyes on these heavyweight fighters. That's really
build up the heavyweights, man. Bring back the heavyweight fighter, man. I think, we're gonna see how Waldo Cortez's takedown defense holds up. It's at 66%, and he's pretty good on the ground, man. He's able to control you on the ground. He's able to bring the fight up. His stand-up game is decent enough. I think he'll be fine.
Not bad.
Next up, we have Azamat Murzakanov taking on Bretson Ribeiro. Now, I feel like a lot of people are going to be on the side. What are the odds for this fight?
Oof, brother. Minus 550 right now. Let me see. What is it at?
Minus 550. Okay.
Minus 585. Minus 550. Minus 585.
This is why I'm saying that, because I feel like, when you look at Ribeiro, he's 17-7-0 and he's 3-5. He last beat DR Nergaze via KO, who was making his UFC debut, who came in like 5 pounds overweight, looked like a fucking slob. He freaking fraud checked him, got the submission win, looked good. But I've criticized Ribeiro in the past because he does get hit. His striking defense isn't the best in my opinion. He's going up against Murzakanov, who is 14-0. He's 5-5 in his last 5 bouts, last beating Alonzo Menefield via KO. Although being 36, he's heavy-handed. He has some decent pops behind his strike. He has the grappling threat as well, but he doesn't necessarily use it because his striking's so good. And if you look at his fight up against Menefield had some success on the feet. He was able to drop him early in that fight, but he was able to get up, withstand the early onslaught, and then pull through and get the victory. So he's got some grit. He's got some, dog in him, and I like that. I respect that. And he could stand switch, man. He has that southpaw stance. That left hand is very, very threatful. I think he's going to be successful here, man. Ribeiro, he's an offensive striker with decent grappling. We saw last bout out, he got the submission win. like I mentioned before, and I have it here, his striking defense is a concern, man. I think he's going to get tagged here. I think Mirzakhanov can get the victory. I think he is going to get the victory.
Yeah, and look, I'm gonna play with fire here, and
I know. I had a feeling you were. I had a feeling
I'm
you were.
gonna.
I had a feeling you were.
Was it not right the last time?
Well, last time, that's what I'm saying. I feel like people are gonna pick him last, but look at the last two fights, man. The guy he fought, Machado, right? He's no longer in the UFC. He got cut, right? Machado got cut. Gadzhi Azulev, he beat him, but that was at what was that? Was that that was last year? And then Dr. Nergaze looked like crap, man. We had high expectations for him, and he didn't look like he wanted to be there. So I don't know. I mean, you could have that recency bias. You could say that he's reached this new level, but I don't know. I don't think he gets it done here, man.
I'm gonna say this. Like the thing is, like Hazmat does have the capacity to put him out.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, Ribeiro is such an awkward fucking fighter. Fight night, you don't know what you're fucking getting with this guy. Like this guy is like a mystery box from Call of Duty. You don't know what you're getting.
We said a mystery box. That's funny.
The mystery box, bro. I think what he'll do, bro, is very similar to his last opponent. He's gonna utilize his, at 6'3", 81-inch advantage. I think he utilizes it. He's gonna surprise him, peppers him up a little bit. This fight is worth a $20 there, bro. What do you broke? Got $20? Put $20.
Yeah, bro, but if he loses, I'm out $20, bro. Who's gonna reimburse me?
I mean,
what you gonna reimburse me?
What was the odds last time? It was like a plus 500 against. Right. So I'm putting some of that money on Ribeiro, and I think it's gonna the distance. The distance is what's gonna be key here. Now, like if his Amzat is able to kind of close the distance, and it's gonna be a short night. But yeah, I would say this. I'm gonna go on opposing ends, but I will, like I said, this is fun. I'm $20 for fun. Okay.
All right, there you have it.
No rationale.
My man's having fun. My man's. That's what what we call those in my parts of the world. We call these type of people. We call them degens. My man's a degen. Don't follow him on this one. Don't follow any of us on any picks because it's all degen activity. Bro, no, but I see the value. I see where you're going, where your mind's at. You're looking at the height. You're looking at the reach. You're going to feel that he's not going to allow him to close the distance. He's going to keep him at range. And then, maybe bring the fight to the ground and utilize that, ground threat, that submission threat that he has that we saw last time out. I could see that. I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's a good pick. We'll move on here.
This is what I'll do, bro. I'll make it even more funner. I think there's 4 locks of the night that are just going to win like that. I think Van Yu, Sahil, and Wang, I think they're going to win like that. I'm going to put $10 and I'm going to add Ribeiro in there. And it brings it up to a plus 940.
Right. Just for good luck. Good luck. We'll talk about our bets later. Make sure you follow us on X for those. Next up, we have some flyweight action. We have Bruno, the Bulldog Silva, taking on Joshua Van. This is an interesting fight. This is actually going to be a very, very good fight. We have Bruno Silva, who's 14-6-2, 4-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last losing to Manel Kape via KO. Van is 13-2-0 and is 4-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last beating Ray Saruya via unanimous decision. Now, there's going to be a lot of people telling you, oh, Silva knocked out Cody Durden. Van took him to a decision. MMA math. He's going to knock out Van. Oh, Charles Johnson knocked out Van. Joshua Van has a chin. Bruno Silva's going to find that chin. This is what I see. Joshua Van, I have been a huge fan of Joshua Van. When we started recording, it was after the Charles Johnson knockout. He took the fight at the UFC Sphere Noche Latina on short notice up against Chaires, and we saw how good Chaires is. He looked good. He looked a little tired in that first round, but he was getting his bearings. And we talked about how is he going to look coming in on short notice? How is he going to look not taking the full 6 months or 8 months, knockout protocol? He came in on short notice and he looked good. Cool. Fast forward to the Cody Durden fight. Oh, Cody Durden's going to get the wrestling going. Joshua Van doesn't have the takedown defense. He's going to dominate him. That's what people were telling us. That's what everybody was saying. Yep. Joshua Van stuffed the takedowns, got the striking combinations going, got his boxing going, looked good. Then they give him a grappler-heavy individual in Ray Saruya. Oh, Ray Saru is going to take him down, control him. He's going to tire him out. He doesn't have the gas tank. What happened in that fight, brother? Stuffed all his takedowns. He actually made Ray Saruya look tired, man. In the second, third round, he was gassed, chasing.
Undefeated fighter too. Undefeated fighter too.
And he was an undefeated fighter. But Bruno Silva, he's well-rounded. He has power behind his strikes. He has good wrestling, good grappling. He has 4 finish wins. He's coming off a KO loss to Manel Kape. So same question we had for Bruno Silva. Same question we had for Joshua Van is going to apply to Bruno Silva here. How is he going to look after a KO, after a knockout loss? How long has that been? It's been a year already, right? How's he going to look? What adjustments has he made? Is he going to be gun shy? Is he going to have that, that PTSD of getting tagged and getting hit? Now, Joshua Van, we mentioned before, he has been knocked out. That's a possibility. If Bruno Silva comes in and Joshua Van in the later rounds and pushes the pace, gets him up against the fence and finds that chin, that's a possibility. I could see that. But Joshua Van's boxing, his combinations, his takedown defense, I think he's evolving as a fighter each time. And each time he's fought, there's been a different threat that he's addressed and that he's looked good against, right? Cody Durden, he had the wrestling, right? He had the wrestling that people were questioning. Against Ray Saruya, he had the heavy wrestling people were questioning. Oh, he's going to control him. He's going to grab him. He's going to control him. He's going to drag him out. Didn't happen. So up against somebody here who has all those threats, the grappling, the striking, the power, we're going to see how Joshua Van approaches that fight. So I'm going to pick Joshua Van here. I like him. I think he's just a little better than Bruno Silva. And the odds at minus 550 kind of show that. So I'm going with Joshua Van.
Well, we're going with Van. We're Team Van here. I mean, like, I didn't like Silva's last outing. Yeah, it's interesting what Manel Kape did to both those guys, right? But one of them is short notice too.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think Van has the pudding, bro. Van's gonna come in hot. I think Van's also my number 4, and all like fighters that get it done. Van will get it done. Like, I think Van.
But we've been on Van's side for a minute. He hasn't let us down. So we've had success in picking Van, right? I mean, each time he's fought, we picked him.
And even when he lost to, what do you call it, to I think Charles Johnson is massive for that division. Like for the flyweight division, he's a large guy, and
he's tall. He's tall.
Yeah, he's very tall. So even like with him being knocked out, we picked him 2 months in. He did amazing.
Yeah, we picked him 2 months in. He was the underdog. We got him at plus money, and I think he was the underdog against Durden. I'm not too sure. I think he was the underdog. I think the odds flipped in that fight, right? The live odds flipped, but probably. I don't remember. Yeah, and then Ray Saruya, he was the favorite in that fight. So
I'm just but not that much. Like I remember going heavy on him, like a minus 125, 150, just because like of the undefeated thing. The thing here in this fight is like the people are catching up to how good this kid is, and now they're throwing
good, man.
They're throwing a lot of money on this kid now.
No, if you watch his boxing and his combinations, how he attacks the body, he doesn't just throw the normal like 1-2, right? Like most people when they do the jab 1-2. He throws the 1-2 and then he follows it up with the 4-5, the 3-4-5. So he's good, man. I like Joshua Van. I think he gets it done here.
He's gonna have good success again, Silva.
Yeah. So that is our featured prelim, and now kicking off the main card, we have our boy your boy Kevin Holland taking on Vicente Luque. Luque is 23-10-1, 2-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Themba Gorimbo via submission. He was the underdog. Everybody was banking on Themba Gorimbo. I think myself, I think you as well. I think you were on Luque, and I think you picked Luque. We were on opposing ends here, and then he got the job done.
I think I picked Gorimbo. I think I was Team Gorimbo.
Okay. Holland is 27-13-0 and is 2-5 in his last 5 bouts, last beating Gunnar Nelson via unanimous decision. Luque is well-rounded. He can grapple you. He can submit you. He can strike you on the feet. He has some power behind his shots. He's young. I mean, he's been around for a long time, and you would think he's like 38, 40 years old, but my man's only 33. He's going up against Kevin Holland, who we've seen time after time be inconsistent, right? He fucked around at middleweight when he shouldn't have. Those guys are way too bigger. He even said it. He said those motherfuckers at middleweight are too big. He lost to Rene de Ritter. He lost to Roman Dolidze. Big boys. But then he dropped back down to 170 and he fought up against Gunnar Nelson. And everybody was saying, Gunnar Nelson's going to take him down. He's going to submit him. Based off of the recency bias. Rene de Ritter did it. Roman Dolidze got him to the ground. So MMA math wasn't math then. I think Kevin Holland at 170 is a different beast. His striking is good, right? We know how good of a striker he is. He has the tools to be great, but he just is inconsistent. He hasn't put it all together. He's good on the ground. He has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We saw the scrambles up against Gunnar Nelson, who also is good on the ground, how well he looked, right? That was a fun fight. Those scrambles on the ground and changing positions and fighting off the guard, off his back, he's good. I think Kevin Holland gets it done here, man. I think if he even gets, I think he's going to be better on the feet. And if he does get taken down, he's going to hold his own. He's going to have fun scrambles. He's going to get out of awkward positions, find dominant positions, bring the fight back up standing if he needs to. I think he gets it done.
I mean, look, like, I'll be honest with you, Buckley, bro, like, well, Buckley just looked that much better at welterweight as well. The issue with Holland, and it's always going to be in the question, is he's taking these fights to get paid. That my man doesn't give a shit about like this. He's not contending for a belt. He just wants to pursue the money.
Why'd you bring up Buckley? I'm confused.
Oh, because Luke, what do you call it? Buckley knocked
him out. You're talking about okay. Yeah. I was confused. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so it's funny because Buckley knocked Luke out, but Kevin Holland knocked him out.
Yeah.
In the pandemic 2020. That's when he had his best 5 years. That's where, if it wasn't for that time, I don't think Kevin Holland would be Kevin Holland. Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. But the issue is these odds. Minus 275. Kevin is not a minus 275. What are we relying on? Because he's going to come in there. He's going to try to bolt some jits, throw a lot of wild things. I think Luque would be. I'm going to go with Luque, and I'm going to hope that as we progress through the days, people are throwing a little bit more money on Holland, so then I could catch Luke at a plus 300.
Yeah, man. But listen, losing to Bilal, losing to Jeff Neal, losing to Joaquin Buckley. I mean, those guys, those are different styles too. You got a grappler, you got striker.
Yeah. Joaquin is the power guy.
I think, I'm not putting money on this fight, man. I don't trust Buckley. I don't trust I trusted Holland up against Gunnar Nelson because we hadn't seen Gunnar Nelson like a year, 2 years, or however long, right? And
Holland, yeah.
And it was even. I think we even got him at plus money. I think it was plus 100 when we put money on him, right?
It was a plus 2. It looked like a plus 1.
Didn't it close? I thought it closed. I thought that line closed. I remember we got him at a plus money, and we went against him when he fought Rene de Ritter, and Rene was like a plus 285, and then we got Rene by submission for a plus 400. So we bet against them in the past, but I think this time, I mean, if you're betting against them, how do you think Luque gets it done?
Luque is a good counter striker. You see, that's the thing with Luque. Luque has very good patience, and I think the issue is the chin, because the thing is Holland is very wild in his striking, so I think he's gonna come he does that thing where he's like spin joints. And Jeff Neal was having a conversation with Rampage about the toughest fighter he's ever fought has been Kevin Holland, right? Like when it comes to power, because of the length, that 81-inch reach is an issue. Like, bro, Ribeiro has 81-inch. Ribeiro. Imagine Kevin Holland at these. That's the thing about it. So but I'm banking on the fact that there is a possibility that, I don't know, man. Has he been in the gym? Has he been training? How locked in he is? Maybe we get to kind of see his interviews, because that's also a thing. Like when my boy starts wilding out, he wants to fight Rampage on fight night. He's saying shit. I don't give a shit about fucking this fight. And it's just like, as a bettor, brother, we're seeing that. We're capitalizing on that. He did want to fight Gunnar. I don't know, man. I like Luque. This is his first. Oh man, let me see something right away, because the last tough fight he had was
what do you mean his last tough fight, bro? Look at that lineup right there, bro. That's last 5. Michael Venom Page, Roman Dolidze, those are all.
Yeah, but I'm not counting these. This is what is this? This was at middleweight. I think I don't know what this was. This fight I bet again. I knew Page was going to take it, but then this fight was not a decision. It was not a split decision. Magdalena took that fight, easy cake. I don't know, man. Like this is a tricky fight. It really is, Roy. Because is Luke on his way out? Because this could be it. This could be Luca's on his way out. It's just I think Luca has had to endure a lot of fights, like a
Yeah, look
lot
at
of
his record,
good.
man. People
Yeah,
he's fought. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like
Tyron Woodley, damn.
yeah, like this bro has fought. bro came from the Ultimate Fighter, bro, with the Black Zillions when you know when they're still fought Bilal, like beat Bilal actually. He knocked him out in the first round, 2016. But then Bilal came back and took it back.
Yep.
This is going to be a tricky fight, man. It's going to be a very tricky fight. He was supposed to fight Nick Diaz.
Yeah, that's not
um,
happening. My man in
this
the
is a
bushes.
gamble. This is a gamble. I'm going to go with Luca. It's a gamble. There's a lot of
I'm not mad at it. Yeah, you're going with Luque. Yeah, I see it. You know, Kevin Holland has been inconsistent, and I listen. If you're betting money, Kevin Holland right now, it's a gamble, right? The only reason I did it up against Gunnar Nelson is because he was dropping down to 170. He was on a 2-fight losing streak. He was fighting for his job, and we talked about that here, right? We said, hey, my man's probably looking at the contract like, I got to get some W's. You know, these fights are good, but they're not always going to come if I'm not winning. So
not like he lost. He lost. Those two fights were bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like he if he would have got it subbed or dominated by Gunnar Nelson, I think it would have been wraps. But he needed that win. So
I'm thinking about the RDA fight and versus Luque and how he didn't really, you know. And the thing is with Gorimbo, bro, Gorimbo has not so good footwork too. Holland is a little bit crazy. So I don't know. I might change my mind. I want to kind of see if there's a couple of interviews out of there of Holland, because I want to see how he's feeling for this event, what he's talking, what is he doing.
We'll move on here to the individual making the individual. Why do I say like that? The individual making his UFC debut in Patchy Mix. Everybody's excited for him to make his debut, not because they generally like him, not because they know him, because they want him to beat the fuck out of Mario Batista for what he did to the GOAT, the featherweight GOAT, Jose Aldo, by hugging him up against the cage. You know, I think I did. I picked Mario Batista. I had him at dog money. I made money that night. I'm not mad. Do I think he won? Hell no. But I won because I made money. Now, Mario Batista, he's not a bad fighter. He's 15-2-0. He's 5-5. Last beating Jose Aldo via split decision, albeit controversial. Patchy Mix is making his UFC debut. He is 21-0. He's 5-5. Last beating Magomed Magomedov via split decision. Now, when you look at Mix, he's a former Bellator champion. He's a grappler, pushes the pace, keeps a relentless pace throughout the fight, and looks for submissions to end his fights. He has I don't even know how many submission victories. He has a lot under his belt. He looks for the finish. He gets busy. He doesn't just take you down to control you. He's working. That's pretty much his game plan. He grapples you to the ground, chases submissions, get the finish. It's been successful for him. He's done well in that regard. He's going up against Bautista, who throws with volume. He has good output. He pushes the pace. He gets active. He's a solid striker and grappler. He does mix in takedowns if he needs to. He's a smart fighter and has good, decent takedown. Now, as I mentioned, I feel like a lot of people are going to pick Mix based off of their disdain or hatred towards Batista for how he fought his last fight. And I understand it. I get it. I completely get it. But is individuals making their UFC debut, right? How have they looked recently coming from Bellator, right? And Patchy Mix is a good guy, but the same thing with like Patricio Pitbull when he fought Yair, right? What was everybody saying? He's going to take him down. He's going to control him. He's going to grapple him. And what happened? His takedown defense looked good enough. He kept the fight standing, got the victory. Now, Mario Batista, his takedown defense, I don't know what it's at. Let me look at it, what it's at.
He's about to get tested this weekend. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, he's going to get tested. He's going to get tested, but let's see how Mario Batista uses that. Mario Batista. Where the hell is he at? I can't find it. Well, whatever. Yeah. But anyways, even throughout that whole rant, I think Patchy Mix gets it done. I think he's gonna take him down. We'll see, man. I think Patchy Mix is gonna get it done. He's gonna have a good debut. He's gonna be victorious, man.
My boy.
Like that. But the thing is though, like I think Mario Batista, I don't think he's out of this fight, man. I think his takedown defense and his striking is good enough to stop a few of the takedowns. But the difference here is the pace, right? The pace that Patchy pushes. Like you look at Jose Aldo, the criticisms that we had, the criticisms that everyone had that when he fought Mario Batista was Batista's not going to be able to strike with him, right? Jose Aldo's the better striker. He has the leg kicks. He has just a better striker. So what did Batista do? He got in the clinch. He held him up against the fence. He hit him with some shoulder hits. He hit him with some clinch strikes, and he pulled out the split decision win. Right. So I want to see what his game plan is going to be here up against somebody who constantly is in pursuit of the takedown. But I think Patchy Mix is going to be successful. It's going to be an interesting fight, man. His takedown defense is going to be tested. I think Patchy Mix has a good debut though.
I mean, I'm trying to find the words to keep yapping, but Mario's not elite. Mario's just gritty, and he gets it done. And he knows how to hold you back. Let's be honest, right? That's what Mario's good at.
He's a smart fighter, man. He's not a flashy fighter. He's smart.
No, he's not gonna go out there and play risk. Let's be honest. Like he's not. Unfortunately, he's not that guy. He's not gonna go in there and start playing what is with you. He's gonna That's why I like him. That's why I like the dude. But Patchy Mix is no joke. Now the question is, what people are saying that it's what they've always said is Patchy has been around the block. Like just because he's been in Bellator, it doesn't mean he's beating the shit out of these UFC fighters in training camp. So I think that's what people are relying on. Married to Suarez. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Mix, man. I'm gonna go with Patchy Mix, man.
Yeah, the thing is though, like you look at Batista's record, right? Like he's fought Damon Blackshear, he beat him via unanimous decision. He fought Ricky Simone, who's a wrestling heavy approach, right? Beat him via unanimous decision. So he rarely gets finished, man. He does develop good game plans to beat his opponent stylistically, right? Like he that's what it is. He's well rounded. So in this fight, we're gonna learn a lot. I just looked. His takedown defense is at 66% in the UFC. So it's gonna be a good fight though. But I'm not gonna count out Mario Batista. I'm gonna pick Mix. I'm not gonna bet on this fight. I'm gonna look at the live odds and I'm gonna see if I can get something I like. Yeah. If I can get something I like. Because I gotta see how he looks in that first round. If he stuffs a couple of takedowns, right? I gotta see how he looks. What his game plan's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean,
but if Patchy Mix gets it done in the first, and
shit. It's a minus 175. It's not bad, but like you said, like I want to see a little bit more. Más.
Next up, we'll move on to our featured fight on the main card. It's Kelvin. I always say Kelvin Gastelum taking on Joey Body Bags, Pfeiffer. First off, fuck Joe Pfeiffer. Talking about Mexico, man. Listen, just because your tummy hurt, just because you had to take a dump, you had diarrhea, don't blame it on the people. Don't blame it on the country, bro. Make sure your diet's in check. Make sure you take the antibiotics. Make sure you're ready to fight. But at the end of the day, he's going up against Kelvin Gastelum, the refrigerator, right? The Taco Bell man. That's what they call it. They call it the refrigerator, the Taco Bell man.
No. Taco Bell. That's insane, bro.
He's 19-9-0 and is 2-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last beating Daniel Rodriguez via unanimous decision. Pfeiffer is 13-3-0 and is 4-5 in the last 5 bouts. Last beating Marc-Andre Barriault via KO. I'm gonna pick Pfeiffer, even though I just said fuck him. I think he's gonna win this fight. Kelvin, he's short. He's undersized for this weight class, and the reason he doesn't fight at a lower weight class is because he's big, bro. He likes to eat. That's the thing. He's a big boy, and I know you have. Go ahead.
I'm not picking against Kelvin, bro. I'm not picking Kelvin, bro. I don't think. What are you talking about? Kelvin could have been champion when Tyron Woodley was there. Kevin's from that generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin went to a split decision with Tyron Woodley, and then I think a couple fights passed and Tyron got a shot. But I don't know where Kelvin's at, man. I like you said, man, drop the brother, drop the chimichanga, bro.
What's your favorite thing to say? Go down the way, man.
Drop
No,
down
but
the data, Kelvin. I'm eating data. Can you drop the chimichanga down? We
said
need
I'm
you.
eating.
Drop down the chimichanga right now,
Yo, you know
bro.
what we call the?
Even
You know
you
what
the
we?
other day.
What's up?
Sorry. Even you the other day when you told me, Kevin has a podcast in food, and I'm like, nah, you're tripping,
Yeah,
bro.
bro. He has a,
Like
he
I
has a
have a
podcast in
YouTube
food.
channel eating, and then he misses weight. And
Bro,
this is
that's why I called him the Taco Bell. He was eating Taco Bell on the week of the fight, bro, and he missed weight. He missed weight. So,
but
but despite that, he's a good boxer, man. He has strong wrestling, good durability. He's never been KO'd. That's something to look at, especially when he's fought killers like Tyron Woodley, who was putting people away, man. That Tyron Woodley pre-shoulder, man. Woof. That was a fighter to look at, dude. That physique. He reminds. We'll talk about him at a later time, but that dude was a beast. As we mentioned, he has had issues with weight. He does get hit, but he's never been knocked down. He's up against Joe Pfeiffer, who's training out of the same camp with Sean Brady. And we saw how good Sean Brady looked against Leon Edwards, right? And how well that preparation was for that bout. Now, the concern we had when we broke this fight initially, it was supposed to be at UFC Mexico. They were fighting at altitude. We were talking about how Pfeiffer was going to look, right? In the later rounds, how his cardio was going to look, how his endurance was going to look.
Yeah.
But this is a new fight in a new location, 3-round fight. Pfeiffer has power. He has the knockout ability. He has good striking, good takedowns, good grappling. I think he gets it done here, man. Does he knock out Gastelum for the first time in his career? Do you see that? Do you see him getting a finish, getting a submission, getting a finish? I don't know.
What
Maybe.
are we banking on that the guy's gonna get tired? Like Pfeiffer? Is that what the
That's what my concern was when he was fighting in Mexico at altitude was, how was he going to look in the later rounds? But I think here, being in New Jersey, being close to home, right? I think this card's in New Jersey, right? Yeah, being close to home, being close to Philly. So what, like 6 hours away? No, not even that far away. It's like what, 3 hours away, 2 hours away? I don't know. I might be wrong. Anybody, any geography nerds, fucking correct me. I think he's not that far from New Jersey, so I think he can get it done. It's going to be interesting though, because in the later rounds we're going to see how he looks, but I think he can get it done. Joe Pfeiffer's the pick.
Yeah, Gastelum has been a little bit too inconsistent. Like Pfeiffer brings very raw power into this equation. I think that's the thing about it. If you're banking on the fact that Gastelum could wrestle him, could tire him, like Gastelum also has cardio issues too. So that's the only reason why I'm so tentative to be like, hey, Gastelum has this in the bag. No, Gastelum has suffered from cardio issues. I don't know how motivated he is as well, but he's also 33 years old. He's been fighting in the UFC since the Ultimate Fighter John Jones versus Chael Sonnen. He beat Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall's not in the UFC. Like so if you go, bro, and this is why it's so scary to kind of go down like, bro, this guy has fought. Like, what are we doing, bro? Since 2013, bro.
Uriah Hall, shit.
This is what I'm saying. Like, since 2013, my man has been hanging in there. Like, and this is where like he had very good win. Jalen, look at the split decision, bro. Look, like,
also a different time, man. Different time.
That's the thing about it. Like, there was a different
time. Different time.
There's a very different time. Like, this is why, like, I look at all these fights and I'm like, man, these fights are just like they're scary. He even knocked out Vitor Belfort. He knocked out Vitor Belfort. Man, like, this guy has fought everybody, bro. That's crazy. I'm gonna go with Pfeiffer, bro. I think Kelvin's time is done, respectfully.
Yeah, and he lost to Sean Brady, right? And you don't think Sean Brady's, helping out his training partner, giving him some tips on how to approach this fight. So
at welterweight too, eh?
Yeah. We're moving on here to our co-main event. Juliana Pena defending her bantamweight title up against Kayla Harrison. Pena is 11-5-0 and is 3-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Raquel Pennington via split decision to gain the title. Now, I'm one of those people who I don't think she won that fight. I think she was given that fight. I don't know, man. We talked about it when it happened. That was a close fight.
That was also another card that if it wasn't,
I was a one-off. If I was one, I would have made money, bro. I would have made money on that fight if she would have if Pennington would have won. She got dropped in that fight. Pennington, I think, in that fight, picked it up a little too late. They were fighting at altitude, right? She was conserving her energy in the earlier rounds, and then she picked it up in the 4th and 5th. But by that time, I think it was too late. It was too late. Pena got away with it. But Harrison is 18-1-0 and is 4-5 last, beating Ketlin Vieira via unanimous decision. Where in that fight, a lot of people said that, oh, she, even I said, oh, she looked human, right? She looked, tired, and Vieira was able to cut her up and give her that cut on her. I think it was her eye or her forehead. But the thing we'll talk about that right now too is when you look at Juliana Pena, she's tough, she's well-rounded, she's solid everywhere. She's not great. She can fight on the ground or on the feet. I think in this fight, it was going to be an interesting fight, man, because you look at Kayla Harrison, and we all know that she's an Olympic gold medalist in judo. She'll grab you by the fucking scruff of your beard and throw you and toss you, bro. You think she could take you to the ground?
She can.
Okay, I thought you were gonna be ego and be like, nah, brother, she can't take. But yeah, you look at Kayla. She has that judo background. She looks for the takedown. She looks to take you down. She looks to work on the ground, the ground and pound of submissions. Her striking's okay. She uses it to set up her takedowns. Now, the issue here is, going back to that Ketlin Vieira fight, people are going to talk about Kayla's gas tank, right? How's she going to look in a 5-round fight? How's she going to look when, she's not getting the takedowns going? When you look at the Ketlin Vieira fight, Ketlin Vieira has an 88% takedown defense. Ketlin Vieira is good. She's good, man. And, Kayla had some troubles in that fight figuring it out, but she got it done. Now she's going up against Juliana Pena, who's tough, she's gritty, but she has a 23% takedown defense. I don't think she's going to have any issues taking her down to the ground. Now, the issue comes if that's only Kayla's game plan, right? This is how I see this fight going. I see Kayla engaging in the striking because Pena doesn't pose that much of a striking threat to her. I think she's going to engage in the striking, secure some key takedowns, some key moments in the clinch, right? Put her up against the fence, get some takedowns, and then in the later rounds, push the pace a little bit more. Now, if Juliana Harrison, I'm saying Harrison's gonna conserve her energy and then pick it up in the championship rounds, right? I don't think she's gonna start off too hot, like too fast, try to get the takedowns, fail, and then gas out like a lot of people are assuming. Now, my concern here is, and the issue is, if Juliana Pena gets that top position, right? Because she is crafty on the ground. She could get some submissions. She does work. She does look for those submission attempts. But I think Harrison's gonna look good here, man. She's gonna be the bigger fighter. She's gonna get it done, man. I go with Harrison.
I think the pick here is decision. I think Harrison is not gonna stop this girl.
Harrison?
Yeah, I don't think this fight's getting stopped. I think.
Oh, you don't think Harrison's gonna finish Pena? That's what you're saying.
No. I think she's because the whole I watched the interview and the whole premises of Juliana Pena was like, look, you've made 135, but you've never gone 5 rounds. You don't know what 5 rounds tastes like.
Mm-hmm.
And against under the lights, filming under this belt, and that's where I'm gonna kind of put it on. So if I'm a betting man, like, and I'm betting, I'm betting. Fuck, man. I like Harrison. Like, I'll be honest with you, bro. Like Holly Holm finish, Vieira finish, like
Vieira decision.
Sorry, my apology. Yeah, decision. Yeah. I mean, this is not, and the thing is, like, she does have better striking than Pena. That's you cannot deny that.
Do you think this is too soon? Like 2 fights into the UFC?
No, this needed to happen before. Actually, I think she was Holly Holm. Yeah, I think Holly Holm, and then she should have fought for the title. Like, because the thing is with what's going on in the UFC, it's stagnant. Like
Yeah.
these divisions, bro, they're grim. And
Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's just grimming. It's just I don't like I don't like what, and it's because of the champions. Like Juliana, Amanda was a good fighter because of her dominance and her skill base, but Juliana has grit.
Yeah, but in that first win, she was a heavy underdog, right?
Yes.
Man, and then she got it done. She shocked everybody when she got the submission win, right?
Mhm.
And then she took a year off, came back, and what happened in the second fight? Amanda
Oh, got
Nunes.
exposed. But we
Man.
also know that the way the round was going against
Mhm.
Pena versus Amanda Nunes, and I haven't rewatched the fight, but I'll tell you
Yeah.
this: Amanda lost the fight because her ego was too big. Because what was happening is, and you remember this, when they were both kind of like fighting, um, Amanda was wailing looping shots, and then she picked up on it, and it was like it was frustrating Amanda that Pena was landing, and it was
Yeah.
landing straight strikes, and she kind of gassed herself out. And I
Yeah.
think that's why when it happened again, different outcome. Why? Because now we're not going to see red anymore. We're going to be patient and fuck the ego.
Mhm.
You're not champion anymore. In the yeah, man, it's just the blitzing of this fucking girl. And honestly, Pennington did win that fight.
I was
Pennington
mad, bro. I was so mad.
Pennington won that fight. I'm trying to remember. So Silva fought Pennington for the belt. Okay, that was the vacant belt. It's because Amanda dropped it. That's what it was. Okay. Because I'm like, how
Yeah.
did Pennington get the? But I saw her live, bro. That was a snooze fest. But Pennington did have more success than Pena. I'll say that right now.
Yeah, and I guess, are you concerned with the level of inactivity that Juliana Pena has had? Like, she's only had 3 fights in the past, what is that, 3 years, 2 years?
Yeah, because
Three
she wants
years, bro.
yeah, she wants the whole. If she loses, bro, that's it, bro. That's it. Like I would,
Yeah, I
I
think
think
the level, yeah.
she's milking this. I just don't, bro, for the death of me. I don't understand how somebody hasn't told her you need to work on your striking. Like, what is
Yeah.
going on with this strike? There's a blitz sequence that she has where she's just like, and it's just like Amanda comes, walk,
Yeah.
and I don't
And
want to be sexist, bro, but in men's fighting, you do that shit, you're getting knocked the fuck out.
and I think, yeah, and I think that's the one thing I wanted to address is the difference in the takedown defense from Pena to Vieira, and the reason why Kayla looked, I don't, she looked somewhat tired in that last fight, right? Is because she was trying to take her down multiple times, and she didn't have the easiest of success, right? She did pose a threat to her. That was a tough fight for her, but I think this fight, Juliana Pena is tough. She's gritty. She's well rounded, but I think Kayla, to have success, she's going to need to not engage in the clinch or the grappling right away. Just kind of, stick and move, stick and move, stick and move. And then towards the end of the round, fight smart, right? Get her up against the fence, try to get some takedowns late in the round, because the judges look at that and they're like, oh, okay, she ended the round on the ground. She's going to win, right? And then in the fourth and fifth, the championship rounds, show people you have the cardio, show people you have the endurance, get it done, increase the pace a little bit, throw her
It's
around.
it's a very it's a very intriguing fight, like this
Yeah.
fight, like because there's a lot of possibilities that could happen, but the main issue with this fight is like, what is this minus 625, bro? Like, what are
That's
we
crazy. Yeah.
that's insane. Like,
The champs. And we've had success with the champs being underdogs. So, Wei Li Zhang, Valentina Shevchenko, Merab Duvalishvili, we've had success betting on champs who are underdogs. So I could be completely wrong. Kayla can get fucking tired in the third round, right? And then Juliana just takes it from there. So
imagine.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I am going to pick Kayla Harrison. I think you are as well. I'll
You
probably throw
imagine
a bet on her.
she skipped a cardio day, bro. You imagine that she skipped a cardio day and
Well, that's the thing though. I hate when people say that. Like, I'm gonna speak ahead. Like when it comes to the Hamzat and Duplessis, everyone's gonna say, "Oh, Hamzat looked tired against Usman, bro. That fight was how many years ago?" And you don't think my man's gonna fix those issues, fix those concerns for a championship fight? If that's your only excuse to not pick Hamzat because you got tired against Usman, different style of fighters, years apart. What are we doing?
Usman is no joke as well. Like
That's what I'm saying. What are we doing? So anyway, I just wanted to say that like these guys are professionals. They train for this. They understand what's at stake. They understand like what they need to work on, right? And if cardio is a concern, then they're gonna work on cardio, right? For a 5-round fight. We saw with same thing with Carlos Prates. Oh, he's a smoker. He's not gonna do well in 5 rounds against Machado. What did he do? He conserved his energy and he picked it up in the later rounds. He almost finished him. He was one hammer strike, one fucking strike away from winning that fight. And why? Because he conserved it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that was. Can we be honest here? That was low IQ of Prates.
Yeah, Prates should have just kept going, bro. He should have kept going. He was literally 1 to 2 strikes away from the ref being like, "Hey, yo, we're done, right? This dude's not defending himself." But at the end of the day, he looked good in those 5 rounds. But everybody was counting him out because he smokes. He's never been in a 5-round fight. He's never gone past the first round, second round, whatever, right? We'll see. We'll find out. We both have Harrison to get it done here. We'll move on to our main event. A lot of people on X were upset when this got announced. They said, why is Sean O'Malley fighting Merab Dvalishvili for a second time when the first fight was not entertaining? It was domination by Merab. That's what people were saying on X.
They know why privilege, bro. What are you talking about?
They know why privilege. But listen, they're running it back for a second time. They last fought at UFC Noche Latina, where Merab Dvalishvili was successful via unanimous decision in defeating Sean O'Malley, gaining the bantamweight title, avenging his friend in Aljamain Sterling, who got knocked out, who lost the title to Sean O'Malley. Now, Sean O'Malley, you can argue, we talked about this off air, was compromised in that fight. How was he compromised? He had an existing hip injury, I believe it was, which caused him to get surgery, which caused him to be out for some time. He since has had the surgery, is back, and now he's fighting for the title again. Now, a couple interesting things now. I'll get into them after I say that. Dvalishvili is 19-4-0. He's 5-5. He last beat Umar Nurmagomedov via unanimous decision, right? He looked good in that fight, man. Like, that fight was classic changing of pace by Merab. Like, you watch those first 2 rounds, you say, damn, Umar's fucking good, dude. Umar's going to be the new champ. Umar's game plan is solid. And what happened? My man flicked the cardio switch and said, all right, let's play, boy. Right? Let's play. And then let's play. And then he out cardioed him. That's the thing. He out cardioed him. He out pushed him. And he looked good in that fight. He won. He was the underdog, and he regained his title in that fight. He defended it. Now, O'Malley is 18-2-0. He's 3-5, last losing to Merab, as we mentioned. Now, when we broke this fight the last time, we said that Merab is vulnerable to that left shot, right? We've seen Henry Cejudo, we've seen Moraes clip him, drop him, right? Get tagged. And we thought that Sean O'Malley was going to have the same success. And Sean O'Malley did have some success on the feet in the first round. He hit him with that body shot. I think it was a kick to the body, if I'm not mistaken, or a punch to the body that visibly looked like it hurt Merab. He kind of backed up. But in that fight, Merab, in my opinion, didn't switch the pace, if that makes sense, right? He didn't up the cardio, right? He kind of was having fun. He was stuck there and striking with him. He took him down. He blasted a couple double legs. He took him down to the ground. But we didn't see him push the pace, get him against the fence, take him down, and just do all those things that we saw him do against Umar. And I think this fight's going to be very different. Now, Sean O'Malley, him and his camp have talked about how, one, he was compromised, right? In the first fight, the lights of the sphere were too much. That kind of affected his striking. What was the other thing I sent you? Was it the lights of the sphere? It was also the, what was the other thing that he talked about?
Oh, Dana told him to not, like, he was told not to fight, and he just like, nah, I'm gonna take the fight. There was something that came out afterwards about that.
Let me look it up. I commented on it, right? But despite that, like, Sean O'Malley, let me see, where was it? Sean O'Malley says here, I tore my hip 10 weeks before the fight. 8 weeks before the fight, Hunter calls me and says, you got to go to the spear. And I was like, I'm not going to turn it down. So as you mentioned, it was Hunter, right? Hunter Campbell hit him up. So he was compromised. He did have the hip injury, which kind of affected his movement. And we saw it there, right? Like, he didn't look like how we expected him to look. But I don't know, man. What are the odds at for this fight?
Plus 240.
Plus 240, right? I mean, we've seen Sean O'Malley be victorious up against a grappling heavy individual in like Aljamain Sterling, right? A training partner of Merab Dvalishvili. Although different fighters, I'm gonna side with the champ here, but at value, if you're looking at this from value, plus 240 for Sean O'Malley for how good he is, that's not a bad shout, man. If you want to bet, I'm gonna pick Merab, but I'm gonna entertain the idea of maybe betting on Sugar, maybe looking for that, decision win, maybe, or maybe looking at the knockout win. Who knows? We got to see what the odds are, right? It's all about value. But I think Merab is going to get it done here, man. I think he is going to be victorious. I think what Merab's going to do here is we're going to see him flip that cardio switch, like how he did against Umar Nurmagomedov. It's going to be a different fight than the first fight, and I can't wait for it, man. I think Merab gets it done, though.
Yeah, no, I'm going against Merab this time around.
Yeah.
And why why didn't I don't know why Merab didn't capitalize on finishing him. O'Malley looked different in that fight. He didn't look like himself, but it's also Merab. Let's be honest with each other, right? But I just think if O'Malley's quote unquote, and this is assuming he comes in healthy and he's a different fighter and he's able to pick the distance, pick the shot, defend the takedowns, it's going to be a very different fight, right? But this is a what if.
My concern is how is he going to look, his mobility, his movement, right? Like coming off a hip surgery, we don't know how he looks. I would have preferred, like I said this before, I would have preferred that he took another fight prior to facing off.
Yeah. He's too big.
So we could see how he looks, right? But now it's like there's coming off a surgery. I don't know how he's going to look, man.
It's rolling the dice. You're literally, how long has it been now?
And the reason I say that is because my favorite example is look at Tyron Woodley, right? We talk about Tyron Woodley pre-shoulder surgery. How good did he look, man? He was knocking everybody out. He was beating everybody, right? And after that shoulder injury, he went on a 5-fight skid. He just didn't look the same. So, yeah, I don't know. That's my main concern is how is he going to look? How's his mobility going to look? But I'm not counting him out. I just think Merab's going to be victorious, man.
Yeah, and like I said, like I'm going with O'Malley. I'm playing the big gamble, the big what if.
Yeah.
But like, bro, like it's just, I know what the fight they got to make. That make Sean O'Malley versus Nurmagomedov after this, regardless of the outcome.
I'll say this too. I like how Sean O'Malley is talking. Like he's saying that, you know what, I gave up weed. I stayed off of social media. I fell in love too much with the influence, the character of Sugar, that I forgot like what it is to be like a MMA professional, right? Like I'm locking in, and he talked. I saw today. I forgot who posted it, but he talked about how in his training camp he's simulating like an arena, like he's having like loud noise, like he's simulating like he's fighting in the octagon, like in a busy environment, a loud environment. And I think his preparations, he's taking it serious. He's going to approach this like totally. It's going to be a fucking interesting fight. It's going to be so good, man. But yeah, I'm liking how he's talking though.
Well, that's what I'm betting on. You're betting on the fact this guy's going to be so locked in, and Merab has been, Merab's been, Merab does training, but Merab's been a little bit party animal recently, right? Merab is,
but Merab trolls, man. Like I'm looking at some of his antics. Last time he posted the picture of his eye. Right. And I think even you were like, the cut concerns me. And then now he's posting his foot, like, oh, my foot, it's cut. Like, I'm not okay.
That was a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he has these weird tactics. And I don't know. I think he's going to be all right, man. It's going to be a good fight though, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I just like O'Malley odds. They're pretty good. But let's see it. Listen, we got a good card ahead of us, champ.
Yeah, we got a good card, man. That is the full card breakdown for UFC 316. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you show some love. Follow us on X at Combat Sport, guys. We are live every fight card. Immediately as the fight concludes, we put out a recap of how the fight went down. Follow us for our bets, for our picks, for our analysis. We're here all the time. Show some love. Any parting words, my man?
Nah, brother. We'll see you live on X on Saturday.
We'll see you live on X. Also, I wanted to ask you, how's the boxing going? Can you pull up the image of you sparring? I want the people to see. Who they're fading, bro. When they're not telling your bets. But let me pull it up. You don't want to pull it up? Come on, bro, pull it up. Come on, you have it right there.
Well, next time, if O'Malley wins.
Oh man, you're gonna make me share my screen. Hold on, man.
Hey, chill.
No,
What do we got?
no,
What
I
are we
want.
cooking with? What are we
All right,
cooking with?
we'll show them next week. I'll make sure I'll clip it next week. Make sure you guys have a great week. Thank you for the support. Love what you love. Do what you do. Peace.